What is going on? Sunday morning, we are here. We had a ton of games already go off the books. 3 games on Thursday, 1 game on Friday. No games yesterday except college football, which was a lot of good stuff as well. And now we have a Sunday slate today. And honestly, after such an awesome week of games, not super excited about these games. Not a lot of great games on the schedule today. But either way, any day that we can get a Sunday slate of football is a good day. I am joined here by Chev GPT. You can find him on Twitter at, I believe, Chev90.
Yeah.
And
You type
Chev,
in
what's
either
going
one,
on?
it works.
Yeah. What's going on, Chev? How you doing?
Hi, bro. I'm glad to be here. It's wild that we're in week 13 now. Like it feels like, we were just kicking the season off.
Yeah, it's been a it's that you get to this point in the year and man, like honestly, it gets more exciting for many for fantasy football. I get more excited just for football at this point in the year. Like this
Yeah.
is like so many games matter so much in football. Like you have this Eagles game, and I put out a tweet about my thoughts and of kind of like how things transpired. Like you have the Eagles and Bears. Bears are now up in the division. Lions are in shambles. They could miss the playoffs. You have a game next week with the Eagles and the Chargers. That's like a pretty huge game for both of their division races. Now Dallas is in the hunt. There's a lot going on. This is when football in general just becomes way more fun, and I start to really enjoy it. So yeah, we're here. It's a Sunday morning start sit show. We're going to go over the games. We're going to go over some of your questions. We're not going to get to every single question today. We're going to try our best, like we always do. I'm going to just start off from questions that started when the show kicked off. So if you sent in questions before we started a little bit later. So I just don't want to, pull questions from people that aren't here anymore. So if you do pop back in, feel free to just resend in your question. We'll start off with the first question from Jay Poole. Said, good morning. Should anyone from my bench be starting over my starters? I have CMC, Brees, Nico, Sutton, Kittle, and I'm flexing Troy Franklin. Benches Judkins, Pierce, Tet, Tyler Warren, Lamar shit the bed, so I'm down 34-6. So, Chev, I think number one, we talked about the Denver game. It's supposed to rain. I'm kind of with you. I do prefer Sutton over Franklin, but I definitely don't think we can start both guys today just because that game has a lot of different ways that it can go. Denver could get up big and they could run the football. I know that they seems like they want to figure out and establish a run game with J.K. Dobbins out, with the bye, all that good stuff with the rain. So that might be a factor. I don't want to start two pass catchers in this game. I would start Sutton, and then I would either try to get Tet or Quinshawn Judkins, I think, in the
Yeah.
lineup. I want to say Tyler Warren, but he's not giving us those boom weeks like we saw to start the year, and you're down 34-6, so you need some ceiling. 49ers just signed Kendricks at linebacker, so they're banged up. They haven't been able to tackle. Judkins feels like a player that makes a lot of sense in this spot. You could also go with Tet, but Tet's going up against the Rams, and that offense, Bryce Young, I mean, we get one good game, and then it's a couple bad games usually. And I honestly think I'm going with Judkins here over Tet and over Tyler Warren. What do you think? Would you bench Sutton and Franklin and maybe go Tet over Sutton? Oh, and maybe put Judkins in the flex. What do you got here?
That's a tough one because I do anticipate that Carolina Rams game getting to garbage time pretty quickly. No, the Carolina's missing a bunch of starters on defense. JC Horn's going to be out. I believe Mike Jackson's going to be out. Trayvon Moore suspended for one game. Like I don't see them being able to put up much of a fight. And so with that, I'm using that opportunity to potentially get T Mac into my lineup. Like
Yeah.
that's where I would lean. I love Cortland Sutton this week. We talked about that before the show started, but I think I think Tetaroa might be in a better spot this week. And Judkins is like a top 14 play. I think I have him at RB 14 exactly. So
Okay.
and I love that matchup. And there's a bunch of weather coming in, and that's just all of that signals just Judkins time all the time. You saw him get the wildcat carries down by the goal line last week. Like there, this everything signals a 25 touch game for Quinshawn Judkins this week. And I like my odds of him falling into the end zone on 25 touches. I would try
Yeah,
to find a way to work him into the lineup for sure.
weather is going to be a factor in that one too. Snow game. So that'll be interesting. I'm kind of with you, right? I think
Yeah,
Judkins over Franklin. My question was the big question was Tet over Sutton. Is that something you consider? And I'm kind of with you. I would go Tet over Sutton as well. I have Tet over Sutton in my rankings. I think it makes sense, especially if you're chasing ceiling with that game script as well. I do want to talk about some of the calls we had before. Before on Thursday morning, me and Hoff, Christian Watson ended up having an awesome game, which
yeah,
we were pulling for and we were calling. If you started Zay Flowers and Devonta Smith, you were pretty disappointed. AJ Brown back up to being a top 12 play. So that's good to see, and we'll see if he can continue that. Let's go ahead and move on to Jenny Whipple. Jenny said, "Good morning. Could I can start two players: Aaron Jones, Devin Neal, Kayshawn Boutte. I'm definitely starting Devin Neal. I'm high on Devin Neal today. He's going up against Miami. We saw him catch 5 passes. We had 7 targets. Devin Neal is a guy I'm going to die on the sword for this week. I just feel really strongly about it. I know me and you talked about it. Aaron Jones is really tricky. He's going up against Seattle, and Seattle, they're just that defense. I think they lean on the run game as much as they can with a rookie quarterback, so that bodes well, for the volume. But Seattle in general, I mean, this defense. I mean, they're not giving up a lot of points to running back. 17.2 over the last 4 weeks. I would go Kayshawn Boutte against the Giants over Aaron Jones, and Devin Neal is the lock for me out of the three for sure.
yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'd go Devin Neal and Kayshawn Boutte just at the hint of more upside. I mean, Drake May has been one of the best deep ball passers. The Giants play a ton of man coverage, and they just let Shane Bowen go. So there might be a little bit of flux there, but they just don't have the pieces in the secondary, in my opinion, to be able to stop, anything that the Patriots want to do through the air. So, I mean, it is the Monday Night Football matchup, but I mean, we don't have any concerns about Kayshawn Boutte playing. And like I said, when he's in the lineup, not Mac Jones, but Drake May has been able to find him, on deep balls all throughout the year. And that's one of the things that the Giants give up. They give up a ton of explosive plays. It's just wild.
Yeah, that secondary is bad, man. They just fired, right? Bowen's gone, and did you see the Dexter Lawrence interview about like they asked him, how he feels about Bowen, being gone, and like Dexter Lawrence just like laughs and like doesn't like want to answer the question. Did you see
Yeah, I
that?
mean, dude, he was a DC in Tennessee for a while. I understand why Dexter Lawrence responded that
Yeah, tough. Yeah,
way.
and they should have never got rid of. They should have never got rid of Wink Martindale, man.
No, no, they shouldn't have.
Mhm.
It's but I mean,
Boston House.
zero
Go.
blitzes with no regard for human life aren't it either.
By
Like,
Wink, yeah. I mean, Wink had his flaws too. Don't get me wrong, but um, yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever.
yeah,
The Giants are a mess. I mean that defense should be so much better. I mean that front
oh yeah,
seven is awesome.
yes, yes.
But
If
whatever.
they get good out of nowhere, it's going to be because they smash the defensive coordinator hire. Like they do something like hire with Jim Schwartz, like whenever they hire the new coach, and then they just
I
let
mean,
loose.
or maybe it's a defensive head coach. I mean, maybe it's Vance Joseph. I think
Yeah,
Chris Shula is what's. I think it's going to be Chris Shula from the Rams. I
probably.
really think that's what it's going to be.
You think he's going to be the head coach there?
I think that I mean Shula has ties to the organization. With his father.
Yeah,
He knows the family really really well,
yeah,
and honestly, like great coaching tree. Right, he's coming from the Rams. He's coming
yep,
from McVay. Like he can pull from that tree, and I think that's a big concern when you're bringing in like a young coach. Is like who can they bring around them, right? These older coaches, they have a lot of buddies, whether that's a good or a bad thing. They have a lot of buddies, a lot of network that they can pull from, where these younger coaches don't always have, they don't have the years of experience as much, so they don't always have the best staffs, and you get concerned of who they're going to put together. But Shula coming from McVay's side, like, I mean, he's got so many good coaches and coordinators that he's worked with. So
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Yeah.
And it's a good. I mean, honestly, forgetting the fact that I get it's New York. The Giants are should be very desirable. They should
Yeah.
be.
I mean, you got the quarterback, you got Malik Neighbors, you got just about everything. The offensive line, like they could use maybe
Yeah.
an upgrade, but you got two
I mean,
bookend tackles.
you
It's
have
it's
you have
a
a top 3 dynasty quarterback in Jackson Dart. I mean, how can you how can they pass that up? I mean, come on. Uh, yeah, that's a little inside joke. Don't nobody take that serious. That was not a serious take there. Uh, Jared Fortin, what's up, Jared? Said, hey guys, PPR flex one, Neil, Vidal, Metcalf, Franklin. So this is an interesting one. I got to be completely honest with you. Me and Chev talked about Devin Neal and Kamani Vidal a lot before this show. I've kind of decided that Neal is the player that if I'm going for ceiling and upside, I'm going with Neal because of the pass catching work. Vidal, like you had mentioned, right? He's a guy that's going to be in a game script that's more positive for running the football. I just get concerned with Max Crosby, the offensive line. How do they respond extra week? So I'm going to go with Devin Neal for the upside here. I don't want to start Metcalf. I don't want to start Franklin out of these guys. It would be Vidal or Neal, two guys that I think are bell cows. I mean, Neal is probably going to split a little bit with Taysom Hill. But I think overall Neal is the bell cow. Maybe we see a little bit of the old Broncos running back that
estimate.
they Estime. Yeah, maybe we see a little bit of Estime, but I think I go Neal. If you want the safer play, it's probably Vidal.
Yeah. I'm on the Vidal side just because of the things that you mentioned with Taysom Hill and Audric Estime. Really excited though, because I mean, you know how I feel about Devin Neal.
Yeah, I know. I liked Devin Neal coming out, man. I really did. He reminded me. Not that he reminded me of Harvey, but I liked his tape a lot. Like I liked Harvey. Really, really fun
Yes.
to watch his tape.
Yeah.
Very explosive players. Very, very like good. Like change of direction, twitch.
Yeah.
I'll let you answer this one first. Corey Thomas Jr. said, "Pick two out of R.J. Harvey, Sutton, Ladd, if you don't mind, bro." Chev, what do you got?
RJ Harvey and Ladd.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. That was going to be what I was going to pick.
Yeah.
Amazon Pancakes said, "What are your thoughts on Amara and Hampton actually coming back for Week 14? So sick of these teams being evasive." I do think this is the time. I joked around on Twitter about I did like the whole like end game where he puts the Infinity Stones and stuff, and I said like get Hampton, all these players in my lineup again this week. I said that, but I was really tongue in cheek. I didn't expect Hampton to come back this week, to be honest. I've been saying all along that like I thought even after the bye week when they are activating him, I thought it was going to take at least an extra week for him before because Chev, I mean, like it was obvious that it felt like it was obvious it was more than just like an
A high
ankle
ankle sprain.
sprain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. He's in a walking boot. Like he's been gone for like 6-7 weeks. Like, I mean,
Right.
yeah. So, but what do you think? I think he comes back next week. I think next week is the week he comes back. I don't think he misses more time than this week.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing being that they have one more week so this was the first week they opened his practice window, right?
Yeah, they got 2 more weeks.
Yeah. So I
21
mean,
days.
I think I think we can't, with the information that we have now, we can't bank on him being active in our lineups until we see him practice in full.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
that's the safest way to play that to avoid this type of frustration. Because like I'm like you, I have a shit ton of Amari and Hampton, that I just been stashing on stashing in the IR spot for quite some time. And I'm like, all right, come on, it's time, it's time. Like we were just getting like the runway for takeoff, and then it feels like it got ripped out from underneath us. So just keep him in the IR spot until you see that he's practicing in full, and then we can assume that he'll be back in the lineup.
Yeah, we've had some really frustrating running backs, like with the Bucky Irving situation
Right.
with Hampton now. A lot of
Right.
frustration. Um, Michael said, considering matchups, Dowdle or Woody full PPR. I'm actually really low on Dowdle this week, but I still prefer him over Woody Marks.
Do you
Um,
know?
I have Dowdle at 22. I have Marks at 26. I like
Mm,
Woody. I think I just don't love the way that they're using him at the goal line. I think he's a player that's going to need to get receiving volume for him to return on his value, because I don't see him having, like 100 yards rushing. So he's going to need to catch passes. With Rico, I feel like they could be stubborn and run the football out of being stubborn. It's a bad matchup for either guy, though. I really don't want to start either guy if I can avoid it, but I would go Rico, just because I feel like I trust that, like, if he's at the goal line, if they're at the goal line, he's getting the ball. Nick Chubb could be the guy at the goal line today, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. That's kind of how I look at it. We're hoping both guys can score a touchdown. Dowdle, you're hoping can be really efficient. I think he has a better chance to score a touchdown. Woody, you're just hoping that he catches passes, which honestly could very well be the case, right? Both guys might not score touchdowns, and then you're really saying, "Fuck, I should have started Woody because he's going to be the guy that does catch the passes, not Dowdle probably." So,
yeah. I got Woody just slightly ahead this week. I've really liked what I've seen from him the past couple weeks, and they're spelling him some with Nick Chubb, but I mean, if he got a couple carries inside the 5 yard line against the Bills the last time we saw him. So I'm I'm bullish on Woody this week. There's no DeForest Buckner. That front for the Colts has been pretty formidable against the pass, but without DeForest Buckner, their run defense has slipped a little bit. You saw Kareem Hunt, give them boys 30 carries last week, I believe it was. Yeah, that was against the Chiefs. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. So, yeah, I think that this is they're gonna take the air out of the ball and try to play ball control and just minimize the time that CJ Stroud has to hold the ball. So I think that I go Woody this week.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, I would say I don't come away from that question feeling like, yeah, I feel it's
There's no
got to
there's no good answer.
no,
I don't feel
which is
good
probably
about
where
it.
you're
I'm
at.
just telling you, like, this is what I've convinced myself of.
Yeah. Um, Fair enough. And then, guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you're not already. Go ahead and send in a super chat if you do want to cut the line. We've got a decent amount of questions here. We're going to try to get to as many as we can, but as always, make sure you send in a super chat if you do want to cut the line. Could be $1, $2, whatever you got. Be happy to pull you up as a priority. Garris said, PBR pick two: Ted McMillan, Troy Franklin, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going up against Bo Nick. So this is a situation where I would go with Franklin and I would go with Tet. Um, Marvin Harrison Jr. is interesting. I think Michael Wilson's ascension, I do think, is definitely real. Does that mean that Marv is now second fiddle? I don't know that that's the case, but I would say that there is a real connection with Jacoby and Michael Wilson that needs to be considered. And Marv, I don't know. I mean, he missed 2 weeks for something that I would have thought would have been like pretty short. Does he come back rusty? I don't know, but I'm gonna go with Franklin, who's getting the volume pretty heavily. Even though we could be worrying about the weather in that game, and it might not matter at all.
Right.
Right. And we know that Washington is a get right game for every quarterback. You also kind of save yourself a little bit with the fact that you'd be doubling up because you're going against Nick. So you have Franklin, right? So you're kind of cuffing and protecting yourself a little bit. So I'm going with Tet and Franklin. Do you have a preference here?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm right there with you. Like if for some reason, if they decide to throw the ball against the Commanders, it's going to go well, and it's probably going to go to Troy Franklin because you know that's where it's been going. So yeah, I would have to go with the volume. I mean, Tetaroa, it's been like a month since he's seen less than 7 targets. Marvin Harrison Jr., like that circus tent's big enough to fit. That circus tent's big enough to fit all the passing options in it. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. with Jacoby Brissett. So I can understand why you would want to flex him, but the Tetaroa and Troy Franklin are much safer options, in my opinion, with similar if not higher ceilings that we've seen.
Yeah. What are you feeling about Troy Franklin? We've talked about him before in the past. What are you feeling? I have concerns about Franklin in Dynasty. I think there is very real possibility that that not that he's moved on from, but that he becomes odd man out next year. Reason being, right? You have Sutton. You have
Mhm.
Pat Bryant, who I'm telling you now, he's such a Sean Payton guy that you're going to see Pat Bryant on the field more and more and more while the season ends. And then you have Marvin Mims, who they really, really like to use as a gadgety guy. He's been kind of developing more his route tree, and he's been consistent. Franklin's been on the field because I think Peyton knows that that's a security blanket for Bo Nix. But after this year, I think they might I think they're going to bring another wide receiver in. They wanted Waddle. They tried to make a move. And I honestly, right now, Troy Franklin is a top 30 dynasty asset right now at
Right.
wide receiver. Um, I don't know, man. I feel like I might be willing to take a swing I prefer Wandale Robinson over Troy Franklin. And Troy Franklin is
Yeah.
valued higher than Wandale Robinson if you go to
In
keep trade
Dynasty,
cut. Yeah, in Dynasty right now.
I could understand why, because Troy Franklin's getting alpha volume. Like that's, 10 targets, 9 targets, 9 targets, 7 targets. Like it's been consistent. It hasn't, and he has the rapport with Bo Nix. So people, you could extrapolate and say, oh, well, if this is what they're doing and they're just now starting to let him function as the number one in that offense, then what then happens after a full off season? It's 1 week of practice. No, I'm kidding. But this is, I want to believe that it's real, but at the same time, like everything, one, you're a Broncos fan, so you've got your finger on the pulse of like, hey, this is where Sean Payton's real slippery when it comes to picking a passing target, an alpha passing target, and everything that you said about Pat Bryant, I 100% agree with. So I would be trying to in Dynasty, I'd be trying to sell Troy Franklin just because of everything that you laid out. Plus, they have Pat Bryant. Plus, that they're trying to add another element to their offense. While I do think it can be Troy Franklin, they're not using him like that. They're using him they're using him just kind of like a you know chess piece, or not like a chess piece, but
He's
just
been
like an
like the number
outside of
one over
his.
the last couple of weeks. I don't think
Yeah,
I don't think that's the norm though. I mean, it's the number one is Sutton.
of
Sutton right
course.
now. The problem is Sutton's getting bracketed doubled, and they're daring the Broncos to throw to the other players on the team. And
Right,
Franklin has been a big beneficiary of that, but he's also had his inconsistent moments. And the problem is he doesn't play special teams.
right.
Marvin Mims plays special teams. Like people that understand like the more in depth of football get that like you got to play specials if you're not the starter. Now Franklin is the starter right now, but Pat Bryant does the things that Sean Payton likes to do, which is
Hmm.
block and get dirty and is consistent, reliable. He was a draft pick of Payton, so was Franklin, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Um, just
I was
just
shocked that y'all made that pick, but I like the pick.
with Pat, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, he also reached on it. I mean, he didn't need to take Pat probably that high, right? I mean,
right.
I didn't think he needed to, and so I think that just goes to show how much they liked him. Um, Roger said, "Good morning. Do you think Taysom Hill is a good play this week? I have Taysom, Strange, and Waller. Who do I sit? I'm going with Strange. Waller is nice. He's coming back, right? I totally understand if you want to go Waller, but it's Waller or Strange for me. I'm not there yet with Taysom. I know he's going to get the volume, so I don't think he's a bad play, but I just think with Brenton Strange, he feels like a guy that's like a glue in that offense that like he is very important to that offense. I think we saw it. First game back, he has 90 yards, Chev. I mean, I have Brenton Strange as my tight end 10 this week. I have Darren Waller at 15, and I have Taysom Hill Just in between, tight end around like tight end 16 where Dalton Schultz is, and that could burn me because I get it. There's a good case to be made that Taysom Hill could be a really really good play this week, but I'm gonna go with Waller or Strange, and I prefer Strange against Tennessee.
Yeah, I have Brenton Strange as like tight end 5 this week. I think
Oh
that this
wow.
is, yeah. I think that we're a lot of the things that I would say that I said about Tucker Craft could be true for Brenton Strange now that there's no Travis Hunter. I think he could very easily, like, obviously there's a rapport there that he has with Trevor Lawrence that you saw building up over the first 4 weeks of the season before he goes on IR. Now immediately he comes back and his first reception, they just throw it to him in the flat and he takes off for 30 yards. And if you haven't seen that clip, like he looks like he's shot out of a cannon. So I would bank on him being a top 5 to 7 tight end with volume rest of season.
Okay.
I'm really bullish on Brenton Strange.
I like that call. I think that's a fair call. I liked him coming in. It sucks that he got hurt, and then I think it's quick to just kind of forget. But I like Strange as well. Justin said full PPR, choose one: Judkins, Neal, or Vidal. I think we're both kind of in alignment here. We're gonna go Judkins on this one. We talked about it a little bit before. Judkins, and then for me, it's Neal over Vidal. I think Chev has that flipped. Johan, I think Johan said, "Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Vidal or Wilson at the flex. Also Bucky in the bench, but it's limited in snaps. I would play Bucky over both guys. If Bucky's playing today, I'm rolling out with Bucky. I'm not having Bucky Irving on my bench. They waited long enough. This guy is healthy. I think part of it had to do with the mental stuff he was going through. It kind of delayed the process of him coming back earlier. I think he's healthy. I think he's ready to go. I don't think they're going to limit him. They're going to guys are going to get some touches outside of just him. But I'm playing Bucky. I don't care. I don't think Arizona's defense is that good. I think they're kind of an average unit, and if Bucky Irvin's back, I'm firing him up. I'm playing him. He's too dynamic of a player. Vidal and Bucky, I don't really see how one could say Vidal over Bucky. Maybe that you do prefer that, Chev, but I just to me, Vidal is a volume play, not a high upside play. Bucky is a high upside play. I think he's getting a good volume. You could maybe sway me on Michael Wilson because of how good he's been, and
Right.
because I think Jacoby's going to throw a lot, but I'm going to still go with Bucky.
Yeah, you drafted Bucky. You've waited all this time. Like, this is a good matchup. Play Bucky Irving. Like, let's not big brain this. Like, I'm never gonna be the guy that says, like, hey, I know we've waited for this guy for months, but play backup running back for the Chargers over Bucky Irving, confirmed stud. Like, all it takes, Bucky Irving could have 12 touches and be an RB1.
Yep. All it
Like,
takes. All it takes is a few touches for him to pay off for the week. And yeah, I mean, Vidal is very like Rashad White-esque, right? Like you're playing him because of the starter, you're banking on volume, right? And you're just the only difference is White catches passes, but obviously Sean Tucker really, really crushed that.
right.
Michael Wilson or Troy Franklin? Now, this is pretty easy for me. I'm going with Michael Wilson in this one. I think it's a pretty you go riding the hot guy right now. I think Jacoby is going to have a good game again.
Riding the hot guy right now.
Yeah, you think Franklin's hotter than Wilson right now?
Just let's
Oh no, Franklin's getting volume, but he's not nearly as hot as Wilson. He's hot for volume.
Whew. I listen. I'm with you that I would start Michael Wilson. We
Uh,
just we just sped past the.
you you think Troy's hotter right now? Really?
Read the comments. Go to the bottom of the comments and read.
Let's see. Oh, all
I'm
right.
sorry, bro. I'm 12 years old.
I wasn't picking up what you were putting down, but I respect that. I respect that. Honestly, when you're up where you are, I gotta like get this little chat feed up more often so I can see what the current status of what people are saying because I'm like 30 minutes back on comments right now, so
Right.
I'm not even reading it. That's good though.
Yeah, but Michael Wilson for sure. We're staying in the Michael Wilson flames until he gives us like 3 points and only has like 3 targets or something.
We'll ride that hot guy. Ride the hot guy.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna ride the hot guy.
Oh man.
Oh,
Johnny's in the house. He said Devin Neal, Kenneth Gainwell, Pollard, Keenan Allen, half PPR. I'll go with Devin Neal very, very comfortably here.
yeah. Devin Neal and
I'm willing to
then
take the chance.
Devin Neal and then Gainwell. I'm not playing the other two.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. Well, now everybody's getting in on it in the chat. So I see you guys. I see you guys. If you guys want to play DFS with us, Hoff sent in our link to our contest, 4 slots filled. We did a $20 one that was good, man. I came in second on Thanksgiving. I don't know if anyone was in here for that one, but that was a good time. Make sure you're following Chev on Twitter at Chev90. Chev does some good prospect content. So if you're into that and you're trying to get a head start and a good look ahead at some of the prospects, especially for Dynasty, Chev's dropping some good content there at Chev90 on Twitter. Let's go to Krana Shah, who said Lad McConkey, T Mac, or Diggs in PPR. Yeah, I have Lad at 16. I have Ted at 11, and I have Stephon Diggs at 19. I think it's close between Lad and T Mac here. I'm still going to go with T Mac, who I have
Really
ranked pretty high. I'll go with T Mac in this one.
interesting. I see. I would go Lad. I go
Okay.
Lad then T Mac then Diggs.
Oh, you prefer Diggs over T Mac? You said T Mac Diggs. T
Yeah,
Mac Diggs.
Lad T Mac Diggs.
Any particular reason?
I think Lad. So I think that if there's a world where the Chargers just come out and obliterate the Raiders, and that world is where Lad hits a big one early or Rondé Gaston hits a big one early. Like they're gonna get there through the passing game. The Raiders play a ton of single high cover 3. Lad eats against that. And I think they're just deficient in terms of like slot defenders, and either Aronde or Lad are going to have a monster day against this defense. And so I've got Lad pretty high this week. I think I have him. Give me 1 second to check, but I think I have him in the top 15. And I think I have Tetaroa at 18, and I think I have Diggs at like 26.
I'll tell you this. Forgetting about the fantasy outlook. Raiders plus 10 is a bet that I just took and I will be taking. Plus 10 Raiders. The Raiders in this one, they're playing away, changing the OC. I think that I gotta ask you, and then we'll get to Vinny here. This whole conversation about what's going on with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly, I have no doubt in my mind that Chip Kelly was fucking things up because there was some shit on tape with the Raiders and with Geno that just didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense. And I don't think Geno's a veteran at this point. Like, I don't think he's going up to the line without a plan. And there was some times where it just felt like there was no plan. But the amount of shit that is being pushed right now against Chip Kelly, like it feels a little much. It feels like Pete Carroll's camp is really trying to play damage control for Pete, and they're really pushing a lot of shit out there. It feels like. Am I crazy, or do you see that too? Because it feels kind of nuts. I'm not trying to give Chip any fucking slack here, but it just feels like a lot's coming out right now.
So you have to look at like Chip Kelly's history of just being a complete dickhead at the NFL level, and that's what plays into it too. So like the timeline, hey, they come in, Shady McCoy leads the league in rushing. They've always, basically Chip Kelly's run games have always been top 14 being the low bar, like the low water mark with San Francisco. But the way that he treats his players, if you go back to the summer where he made Ashton Genty change his stance, like You go, and then the way that he was using Brock Bowers against the Patriots in week 1, like he's playing on like 30%. He had like a 40% route participation before he got hurt.
Yep.
So it's just weird. And we wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt because it's Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll wants to run the football. They just took Ashton Jeanty 6th overall, but Ashton Jeanty's been hit more, behind the line of scrimmage than any other running back in the entire NFL. And like that zone scheme shit wasn't working. Jackson Powers Johnson's on IR. There just wasn't any sort of cohesion to what Pete Carroll was trying. I mean, not Pete Carroll, but Chip Kelly was trying to do. And so when you have all those ghosts and skeletons in your closet previously, where former players just shit on you every single chance that they get, then it comes out and it looks the way it does. Then you have Geno, who's been playing good football for the last couple of years, even though his turnover worthy play rate was a little bit higher than normal. Like you become a very easy fall guy. So
Yeah.
I understand it completely. Plus, I just think he's a huge fucking dickhead, and I don't ever want him like coaching teams where I have fantasy players involved.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to sum it up, and it seems like we're on the same page there. I think Chip he's definitely an asshole, and it's kind of like McDaniels in a way, except
Yeah,
McDaniels I think is still a superior coach.
right.
We've now seen Ryan Grubb and Chip Kelly, two really really good guys in terms of at the college ranks, have great seasons, come to the NFL and go one and done,
Yeah,
and frustrating, but. Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that Pete Carroll is trying to play damage control and using him as the fall guy there. And honestly, I get it. It makes a lot of sense. And yeah, there's so much to unravel with the Raiders. I feel like I've talked about the Raiders so much because we have a buddy of ours that's a Raiders guy, and so he's always kind of talking about it.
yeah.
But
Hey, at least you're not a
yeah.
Titans fan, Raiders guy.
Then he said, need a running back and a flex. Harvey, Irving, Judkins, Franklin, Higgins, or Gadsden. So I love Higgins, man. The breakouts here. I think he's really more of a flex play. I don't think I'm going to be rolling him this week out of the guys that you have available here. I think for me, it's very comfortably Bucky.
Mhm.
I'm starting Judkins over Harvey, but they're back to back. And it'd really be like, do you start Gadsden over a guy like Judkins? And I'm not there yet. I like Gadsden this week, but I'm not there yet. I'm going to take the bell cow back every time. And match up that it's going to people, are the 49ers who have had trouble tackling guys and don't want to tackle so far this year. Do they
Yeah.
want to tackle Quinshon Judkins in the cold, in the snow?
All right.
We'll see.
Yeah. It could be a generational game coming from Quinshon Judkins.
Jinxed it. Um, Brissett or Justin Herbert at 6-point passing. I have Jacoby very high this week. I've moved him around in my rankings a little bit. I have him at 10. I'm still going to go with Herbert against Las Vegas, coming off a bye, licking his wounds a little bit, getting some extra time to rest up. I'll take Justin Herbert over Brissett, but I get it. But like, man, like I look at Brissett and I think like, man, can Tampa like step up? Like they've kind of fucking like looked like shit. And everyone's shitting on Tampa's defense, dude, but like they've played some really good offenses the last 4 out of 5 weeks, man. I mean, they've played a gauntlet of a schedule when it comes to offenses. And so maybe they tighten up against Jacoby. I don't know, but I'm taking Herbert over Jacoby.
I was just looking at it on the app. I've got Justin Herbert at 11. I've got Jacoby at 14. The one thing we can't underestimate is how much Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll hate each other. And if he can score 60, he's gonna try to score 60.
That's a good point as well. Okay. Let's try to get through some of these a little quicker. We'll go back and forth. I'll answer one. You'll answer one. I'll let you answer this one first. It said from Jay Sino, said, should I start Diggs, T-Mac, Franklin? And should I start Schultz over Kittle because of the weather and the matchup? Thank you very much. Chev, what do you got? Diggs, T-Mac, or Franklin's first part of that question?
Oh, T-Mac.
Okay, I figured. And the tight ends, I mean, I get it. Kittle, but
Don't
I'm
do this
still
to
not
yourself.
doing it either, right?
Yeah, don't do this to yourself. Like,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Please. We're going Kittle.
Vinny Vinny said Browns or Broncos defense. It's close. The Browns are now my ranked number 6 defense this week. I still have Denver at 4. Um, it's tough though. I mean, with Mariota, he's getting back Terry, and Washington has been pretty good at like not giving up points to opposing defenses, even with Mariota. I think this is a different beast with Denver though. I'm still going to take Denver. I think it's a very high floor with high upside. The Browns are interesting, right? Like does Shador in the snow? He played at Colorado, so he's played in wind, he's played in bad weather, so you think he's kind of built for that. But against Robert Saleh, who's his defense is getting clowned on a little bit too. Does he bring out some wrinkles in this one? And if Shador puts the defense in some bad spots, that's really my biggest concern is the offense putting the defense in some bad spots. That was kind of the decider for me. So I'll go with Denver. Also, the Browns, the 49ers have struggled, but the 49ers offense is still a top 15, maybe even a top 10 offense, in my opinion. They have to kind of get some more weeks under their belt with Purdy and some of these guys back and healthy. Washington's offense is bottom 10, right now. So that's also a big factor there too.
Yeah, I'll just go Broncos D. Like
No.
you won't regret it.
You can take this one here from Mike. He said, which guy tight end for the rest of the season? Strange, Juwan Johnson, Kate Otten, or Darren Waller?
I mean, I just answered this question for somebody else. It's Britton Strange. I think Britton Strange is like top 5, top 7 at worst if he stays healthy rest of the season.
I'll let you answer this one too. From Jonathan, he said, Chimere DK or Terry McLaurin today?
Jesus, how the mighty have fallen. PS2's back. All right, yeah, let's go. I'll do it. Let's go Chim DK.
Yeah. I'm kind of there with you. I'm kind of there with you. I have Terry as my like wide receiver 51 this week. First week back from the injury, tough matchup. I expect a slow start, and so I'm a little concerned there.
Yeah,
FCB Yankee said, "Hey Pete, got a question on who to stream: Browns, Niners, or Jags." I'm gonna go with the Browns there. SW Elbow said, "Gross one, fellas. Pick 2 half-point PPR. Michael Carter. Oh gosh, can't believe I didn't even think I'd see his name today or rest of the season. Ricky P, Chris Rodriguez, Josh Downs, Chris Godwin. Oh man. Geez, that's really really tough. Honestly, Godwin is kind of sneaky today. I feel like I would play him over Chimere DK. I'm at like my wide receiver 45, just behind Jaden Higgins. I would play him over Ricky Pearsall. I would not want to play Chris Rodriguez. It's really between Josh Downs and Chris Godwin. I would go Chris Godwin today. I would take the chance there. What about you, Chev?
there's a good chance that this one shoots out. I'd go with Chris Godwin. Yeah, Chris Godwin and Josh Downs.
Anthony, for you, Chev, said Igbuka or Juwan Jennings today.
Ibuka.
Okay, nice and easy. Kel said Trey Henderson, Jalen Warren, or Parker Washington in the flex. I'm gonna go with Henderson. It's hard not to. Jalen Warren definitely not. I mean, I get Parker Washington's been really really hot, but it's Henderson. For you, Chev, from the Tootsie Pop, start 2: Devin Singletary, Mac Hollins, Hunter Henry, Darren Waller, and good morning with a smiley face. What do you got there?
This is gross. Hunter Henry and Devin Singletary.
Really? Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say Waller, but okay.
I don't
Sure.
know what to expect with Darren Waller coming back this week. Like the Giants have given up enough production to the tight end where I feel at least decent about Hunter Henry potentially falling into the end zone. And then on the flip side, the Patriots run defense has slipped up in the last couple weeks. You saw Chase Brown run for 100 yards last week. So yeah, I'll go with Devin Singletary and Hunter Henry just because I don't mind. It's flip a coin between Hunter Henry and Darren Waller. I just can't go with Mac Hollins because the Booty Warrior's back.
Sure. Okay. Eggy, good morning. Started JMO was unsure about Olave, so sit one. Well, there you go. Then you ended up doing well there.
Yeah.
Sit one: Olave, Henderson, or Kyron. Oh man. I think Henderson is the guy I would sit here. I like
Are
Kyron a
you?
lot. Yeah, I like Kyron a lot. I get Henderson's been good, but I like Kyron in this matchup against the Panthers. And I like Olave. I get it. He's dealing with the back injury, but he's going up against Miami. And Henderson, the reason I worry about Henderson a little bit is because it's second week back with Stevenson. They could be up. And Henderson has been good in the pass game, but if it's a really like downhill run heavy game, I worry that Stevenson's going to get involved more than we want. And I like Henderson this week. This is no slight on him, but I just prefer Olave when he's out there. He's been way too good this year to not have out there. And Kyron's got a good matchup against Carolina. What are your thoughts? I mean, it sounds like you want Henderson in the lineup here, but
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
Henderson's my RB9, just
Okay,
almost specifically because of the matchup. So we've seen the Giants get absolutely run roughshod over by like little like explosive running backs, the explosive play. They're
hmm
allowing only the Bengals have allowed more yards rushing over the last 4 weeks than the Giants. And the Giants are allowing what like the most yards per carry in the last 4 weeks. So I think that Travion has a good chance to hit an explosive. I know last week was kind of weird with the Bengals. They played randomly good run defense, and Travion still was getting goal line carries. He had 21 opportunities last week. So the takeover might have happened, and it just didn't. Like, we got the results from the previous 3 weeks with no Mondre, but we got the result that we wanted with volume with Travion last week. So 21 total opportunities. I think this is another chance to where he can get his early and often, and it's much safer. So if I had to sit one, I would sit Olave. You know,
Okay.
the matchup with Kyron is so good, but now all of a sudden Devontae Adams is their goal line back, so it just isn't as great as it could be. So I
Sure.
would go with, you've got JMO in there already. I'd go Henderson and Kyron, Henderson and Kyron and sit Olave.
So for what it's worth, I have Kyron at 9 this week. I have Henderson at 10. I have Olave decently high. I get it. If you don't want to take the chance with Olave with maybe re-injuring the back, I understand too.
Oh, I
Wanting
mean,
to play
I have
with the run.
Olave at 11. So I'm not down on him by any stretch. I feel like those guys are safer.
No, totally fair. Um, All right, let's move on here to Kel. Said, would you drop Zach Ertz for Darren Waller? I would. It's just for the upside there, right? Zach Ertz is going to be available if you drop him this week for Waller. If you want to go pick him back up next week, he's probably going to be available. No one's picking up Zach Ertz right now to
Right.
start him against Denver. Go pick up Waller, and just just to get a good feel, just to see. Michael said, set it and forget it. DS taken. I'm starting the Rams this week. Last week, stash Tampa. Are you on the side of rostering two defense for the playoffs, or are Rams good enough? I don't think the Rams are good enough rest of the season. I don't love their schedule for the playoffs. I would rather hold Tampa Bay. I know Tampa. I'm hoping Tampa can get right before the playoffs start because the matchups and schedule is there. I know that they've just played some really really brutal games the last few weeks. I mean, when you factor in Tampa Bay's played the Rams, they've played the Patriots, they've played the Lions, they've played
The
the
Bills.
Saints, and they've played the Bills. I mean, that's been their last 5 weeks. They've played like four top 10 offenses out of the last 5 weeks. So, but I don't love the Rams schedule. It's not a schedule that I'm
Hey,
super excited about for the playoffs.
before we move on from that one, what do you
Yeah.
like? What about the Saints? What do you think about the Saints defense as a DS like a playoff play?
No, I like the Saints. I did my playoff video. And they're a defense that I have ranked as a top pairing. They're a really good defense to pair with their schedule. They get the Titans in week 17, so that's obviously feels like the juicy matchup. They get the Jets week 16, they get the Panthers week 15, right? I mean, I don't think that they are here and you're sitting here saying like out of those 3 weeks, the matchups feel good, but I think you probably get maybe possibly one top five finish and then likely somewhere around 10 to 12 for the other two. Titans offense, after seeing last week, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they are, not a defense, an offensive target, but they're an offensive target when you have a good defense. I don't think they're
Right.
as juicy of a target right now because Cam Ward's not taking as many sacks as he was to start the year, and the turnovers are not there as much like we saw to start the year. So it's
Right.
not becoming as fruitful to play against them. But that doesn't mean that they're not an offense that you're going to play against them.
Okay.
You're still going to want to target them. So I like the Saints defense. I think they're a good pairing. So that's a defense that I'm stashing, and they might become a better stash than the Bucks at this point. The Saints defense is honestly not bad. They're really
Right.
not. It's
No.
just the offense. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty piss poor. Like it's not great. That's
Yeah.
the I don't know. What's his face? Brandon Staley, he for all of his flaws as a guy who will publicly do cat cow, on Monday Night Football, like he can dial up match coverage and do some junk it up with less than stellar talent, and that's what he's done with New Orleans this year. My bad. I didn't mean for us to spend that much time talking about
No,
the
it's
Saints.
good. It's cool. No, it's all good. It's all good. But it's a good question. And yeah, if you guys have questions, continue sending them in. We have 66 on YouTube right now. We got a decent amount on Twitter as well. If you haven't already, make sure you like the show. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't followed Chev already, you can follow him at Chev90 on Twitter. We're gonna go for a little bit longer here, probably about 10, 15 more minutes, and then we'll get out of here. I'm gonna start off closer to the top here with this question. And then if you've been waiting, just resending your question. We try to get to everybody's, but again, it's impossible. I mean, we have so many questions in here. So again, send in a super chat. Could be $1, could be $2. Feel free to send it in there. I'll make sure it gets answered. We're trying to do our best to answer as many people as possible. But it's hard to give analysis on things when we're just getting so many questions, right? So try to do our best in that regard. T Dob said Bo Nix or Jacoby Brissett in PPR. I've gone back and forth on this one. I think it's a good question, and I think I'm going with Jacoby Brissett over Nix.
Really?
I do. Yeah, I like Bo Nix. I worry about the weather. It's against Washington. Washington's kind of like been counted out for this game completely. They're on the road. When you go on the road to underdogs in bad weather, it's always to me a closer game than what it's being projected. I feel like
Correct.
it always ends up closer. So I'm gonna go with Jacoby. He's just been super hot. That Tampa Bay secondary has struggled. I think it's a high scoring game, and I worry that Denver could run the football. They're coming out of a bye. They lost J.K. Dobbins. They need to figure out that run game, and so I think there's a world where Knicks has more bust potential than Jacoby does this week. So that's kind of my reasoning there. I assume you prefer Knicks?
Yeah, I got Knicks as my QB8 just because of the get right spot. Now it could randomly become more competitive than we anticipate, but I still, the floor has been safer with Jacoby Brissett, no doubt about it.
Sure.
But I think that I'm calling a shot here and saying Bo Nix is going to be, top 8 this week.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I have Jacoby and Knicks like back to back, right? So
Mhm.
like it's not the hey, this is it's but I mean when I look at Brissett, I mean QB 7, 12, 10, 10, 4, 8. I mean he's
Yeah.
given us a floor of a low end QB1 every single week. And Knicks has been good too. I mean, he obviously had the bad game against the Raiders, but he's been good. I mean, that game really cratered him. And then obviously the Texans game, two tough matchups. Well, not tough matchups. Raiders, not a tough matchup. Just a bad
Right.
outing.
Just
Dave Harvey said, playing BTJ, would you play Washington or Pearsall? I would go Parker Washington and BTJ, and I don't normally start two guys on the same team in the same position, but Parker Washington volume's been there. I think BTJ. I just don't want to start Ricky Pearsall, and it really sucks. But he just looks lost right now.
yeah. Yes, easily Parker Washington if you like fantasy points.
Yeah. My buddy Jeremiah said BTJ versus the Titans, T Mac versus the Rams. Nervous about Bryce Young. I'm going T Mac here. Going T Mac here. You might be nervous about Bryce Young, but I mean, this BTJ's got to make you nervous too, the player itself, right?
Right. I you can at least count on Tedero McMillan on a week in, week out basis. Like, he's going to get at least 8 targets, and he's not going to get nervous and drop one over the middle. Like, I yeah, let's just go. Let's just go with T-Mac. Let's just do it. I'm not enthused about it, but here we are. Here we are. Gross.
Mills is in the chat asking a kicker question for Hoff. Let's see. The High Stakes Sports Podcast said I need a wide receiver 2 and a flex. He said Olave, McLaurin, Shaheed, Kamani Vidal need a wide receiver and a flex full PPR. Yeah, Olave for me very comfortably, and I'm going Vidal. That's actually a pretty easy question in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's Vidal and it's Olave.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy.
Okay. Chev, I'll let you get this one. Black Mamba McGee said, "Happy holidays, fellas. Hope all is well. Non PPR, Igbuka or Wilson from the Cardinals."
Wilson.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Ryan said, "If Tyler Warren ends up not playing today, who would I start? Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson, David Njoku, Kobe Parkinson, Darren Waller." I think we both agree Brenton Strange for sure. I was not aware that there was a good chance Tyler Warren wasn't going to play today. I mean, I know he's questionable, but I think he plays.
Yeah, I do too.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
He's just, I mean, I don't know if he got like the bubble guts or what, but I think he's playing.
Yeah, I think he'll play. Should I drop Troy Franklin or should I drop Troy Franklin or Roma Tunse? I need a quarterback for next week, and Roma's been a letdown. I, I, I mean, this is a really, really tough question. I love Roma Dunze, but the connection is just not there, Chev.
No, it's been bad for 6 weeks now. So
I would go with Troy. I would go with Troy. Is that sad to say?
No, I mean that is a logical, reasonable decision. Why would you go with a Dunze at this point?
Dunze is really riding name value, right? If we're going a Dunze, it's off of name value. If we're going off production, it's got to be Troy. The volume has been similar for both, very high. The connection's there with Knicks and Troy, though. The connection's just not there with Rome and Caleb right now. Ryan said last one, Jacoby Brissett or Jackson Dart. I prefer Jacoby over Dart this week.
I'm going Dart. I'm riding the Lightning.
Lauren said, "What's up, fellas? Hope all is well. Who do you think I should start as my wide receiver 2? Marvin Harrison Jr. or Michael Wilson?" I prefer Michael Wilson over Marv this week. Yeah. Chev, you as well, or?
Yes, 100%.
PPR, Michael Wilson or Rico Dowdle? I'm going with Wilson.
Yeah, same.
Okay. This is a little more interesting. Wan'Dale Robinson or Michael Wilson this week, Chev? What do you got?
I'll go Michael Wilson here too.
Me too. Strange or Dalton Kincaid? I don't think Kincaid's playing. Even if he does, I'm still going with Brenton Strange.
Yeah, Brenton Strange. It was Brenton Strange for me, regardless.
Yeah. Michael Wilson or Olave? I'm going with Olave.
Olave.
Okay. B. Johnson, sit one. Igbuka, McMillan, Pittman, Troy Franklin. Also, Fannin, Henry, or Brenton Strange. I'm gonna sit Troy Franklin here. Just off of again the concerns and the weather and stuff. I think Franklin could still have a good week, but out of these guys, I like all these other guys better.
Yeah, I would sit Pittman just because I feel like he's going to get a bunch of Stingley. And yeah, obviously I'm playing Brenton Strange.
Yeah, same there. Stream Pats, Niners or Dolphins. I prefer the Dolphins this week. I think Dolphins are in for a nice week. Chev, do you have a preference on these three defenses?
Dolphins is the safest option by far. There's just no telling what. I mean, the Niners could. Yeah, go Dolphins.
Okay. All right. Steven said Vidal or Tet McMillan. I'll go with Tet.
Yeah. T-Mac, big pineapple.
Okay. Start one, Alec Pierce, Trey Tucker, Ricky Pearsall. I'll go with Trey Tucker here, I think. Maybe Alec Pierce, definitely not Ricky Pearsall. It's really between Trey and Pierce. I worry about Pierce against I think Texans could really give the Colts a lot of trouble today.
Yeah, absolutely. With the injury to Daniel Jones, yeah, I'd go Trey Tucker.
Yeah, me too. Okay, let's see. Um, Couple more here. Mills said morning champs, Brees or Judkins, rest of season Ferg or Stranger Things. Chev, what do you got?
Stranger Things, and then I'll go Brees.
Me too. Tyler Warner, Dallin Waller. I'm going with Warren, even with
Yeah,
the injury to Jones.
Warren.
Need one, Devin Neal or Aaron Jones PPR. Need two wide receivers, Michael Wilson, Michael Pittman, Chimere, DK. I think we both agree Devin Neal for the wide receivers. I'm going with Michael Wilson. I'll go with Pittman, but I get the allure to go Chimere, DK. I think I'm still going to go Pittman over DK.
If you get any sort of return yardage, then the answer is Chim DK. I
Yeah.
understand playing Michael Pittman though over him this week.
Okay. Let's see. A couple more here, and then we're going to get out of here. Um, Higgins or Parker Washington this week. I'm going to go Parker Washington. I love Jaden Higgins, but prefer Parker this week.
Parker Washington, yes.
Okay. Dustin, half point PPR, Judkins, BTJ, Woody, pick one. I'm going Judkins.
Judkins.
Okay. Dan said, "Yo, guys, should I go with Olave, Michael Wilson, or Marv? Wish Marv could miss so I could smash Wilson. I'm going with Olave, and I would go Michael Wilson over Marv if you're concerned about Olave with
Yeah,
the back injury.
yeah, I go. Yeah,
Okay. Purdy over Rogers. Purdy playing in the snow. I'm still going to go with Purdy over Rogers. I don't have a desire to play Rogers right now with the injury and against the Bills.
ew. No, no.
I think we're both in on Gadsden here over Jawan. Start Brees, Woody, or Tracy. We're definitely both on Brees. Oblivion said, "Morning, guys. Running backs Judkins, Gainwell, flex, pick two. Ibuka, Franklin, Neal, or the other running back, and then Stranger Gadsden. I'm starting Judkins for the flex. I'm picking for the two flex. I'm picking Neal. I'm picking Ibuka, and for tight ends, Stranger Gadsden. I'm gonna go with Strange. Chev maybe has changed my mind a little bit here, so I'll go with Strange over Gadsden.
Yeah, fully agree. Fully agree on all fronts. Yep.
Okay. We're getting close to the end here. Last guy we're going to answer is Mamba. So that's the cutoff here. Daniel said Olave or Michael Wilson. We both said Olave. BTJ or Devin Neal, half PPR. I'm going with Devin Neal.
I'll go BTJ.
Okay. Uh, Origami, Harvest, Texans or Browns defense. They're back to back in my rankings. I'm going with the Texans though. Sutton or BTJ wide receiver, half point PPR. I'll go with Sutton.
Sutton.
Okay. Mel said Nova and Chev, love fellas. 9-4 incoming. Have a great Sunday. You too, man. Thanks for dropping in, brother.
You too,
Appreciate it.
bro.
The Hoff said flex, full PPR, Wilson Judkins or Jalen Warren.
Judkins.
And what do you got, Judkins?
I mean, I understand Jalen Warren is I ran a bunch of Jalen Warren in fast draft, so I understand.
I honestly am tempted to go Michael Wilson here.
I mean, full PPR,
Yeah.
I understand it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not high on Jalen Warren as much this week with the Gainwell nipping at his heels a little bit. He's just not getting the high value touches too.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
got my eye on.
I'm gonna go with Michael Wilson just because I trust there's gonna be more points in that game, more opportunity to score points.
That's fair.
That'll be the tiebreaker. I mean, him and Judkins are both 17 in my rankings
Yeah.
at their positions. I'll go with Wilson over BTJ. Week 13, should I start Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, Jordan Addison, Brian Thomas Jr., or Terry McLaurin? I have Terry McLaurin and Jordan Addison as bottom, like they're not even in my top 50. I would say BTJ over Pittman and DK Metcalf.
Yes. Correct.
Let's see. We're getting close to the end here. Harvey or Nico at the flex. Oh man, I'll go with Nico Collins here.
I'm going RJ Harvey.
Okay.
I think RJ Harvey's gonna have a monster week this week.
Oh God, I hope so. I'd be happy to be wrong on it.
You don't want to do it because you're a Broncos fan.
I know. I just feel like I've been burned so much, and I just need to. I need to. I like Harvey. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they, and I also based on everything I've said today, Harvey should have a big week. I have him at 18, so I like him.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Three more here: Luka, Michael Wilson, Jalen Warren. I'm gonna go with Michael Wilson. I think you agree, or
Yes.
yeah. Chargers or Falcons defense? I'm going with the Chargers. I have the Chargers as a top three play. I like the Falcons, but I'll take the Chargers. Last one from Steven Piera said Bucky Tet, Michael Wilson, Wandale Robinson, pick 3.5 PPR. I'm going to go with Bucky. I'm going to go with Tet. And I'm going to go with Michael Wilson because I trust that he can score a touchdown more than I trust Wandale to.
Yeah, lock that in. Lock that in.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it for us, guys. Chev, you can find Chev on Twitter at Chev90. Chev, what do you have going on? Tell everybody. I mean, do you have anything you're working on specifically? What are you doing at this point in the year for fantasy football?
Oh, well, I'm working on the book of secrets. So I've got 2026 scouting profiles that I'm working on for all of the incoming rookies. That'll be hopefully I'll get enough of that done to be able to get some of that out to you guys. Trying to decide on whether or not I'm just gonna put it out and see if you guys like it and then sell it or how we're gonna do that. Then also we've got the League Champ app. We've got a free rankings competition. I won this Aronde Gasson jersey behind me. I just won the one last week. So we're giving away a free jersey to the winner of that competition. We got two jersey competitions, and a season-long sweepstakes where the winner wins $50. So go download that, put some ranks in. It's super easy to do. You can just click and like 8 clicks, your rankings are in, and then you can just move the guys around. It's super duper easy, and some exciting news on that front to come. I'll share that on my account once the features are live, and then yeah, I'm over on the FFD fantasy and the FF Dynasty. So we're doing the redraft channel. I do waivers and running back start sits and wide receiver start sits every single week over there. So, if you haven't, go over there, youtube.com/FFD fantasy football, maybe, or just the FFD fantasy. So, yeah, a lot of stuff. But if you want all of it, go to my Twitter profile. All of it's on the link tree, Quantum of Chevis, pinned in my profile.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I guess for the league champ, right? I mean, if you're somebody that's not even a content creator, but you want to, I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of people that watch and consume content are smart people. They just don't have the ability to get on the mic, or they don't have the ability to put out tweets or content, right? So they don't. But maybe you think that you're better than some of the other guys that are ranking that do this for a living or do it part time. So if you want to go on, you can go on the league champ. You can pretty much go there. You set your rankings for the week. And as Chev said, you're pretty much competing against other people on the app for the best rankings of the week. And then there's giveaways and things that you can do, and it's for free, right? So that's cool that you can kind of get put into it for free. And also, it's kind of nice, right, to kind of help you mentally when you're trying to figure out who you should start, who you should sit. When you're moving around rankings on your own, right, it also gives you a little bit more confidence to say, okay, yeah, this is kind of where I feel I'm settling in, right? And it kind of gives you a little bit of a better idea of how you can, weekly go about your rankings and go about your start sits. So, but that's going to do it for us. Make sure you guys like the show. Make sure you comment, you subscribe. If you are interested, I do have the playoff video out there. It's still valid. It's still up to date and good to go. I'll probably add some nuggets if there's any changes as we get closer to the season with the playoff season. But that's going to do it for us. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the week. And I'll see you guys next